Stephen Burns.
David Scammell.
It's the end of a long day at E3, Burns.
Which day was it, Dave?
It was the first day, actually.
Yeah.
But it feels like the last day.
But there is a day zero, right? And that was yesterday.
Oh, Burns, don't get me started.
But there was good stuff today, Dave. So let's fucking crack on,
Well,
shall we?
you've just reminded me of day zero. We didn't talk about that. Do we need to talk about that?
No, that's fine.
Everyone knows what that was.
Everyone knows what happened.
Where was Half-Life 3? Wasn't there?
No, exactly.
Rubbish. So yeah, we actually saw and played some games today.
We did.
Burns.
We did.
I played some really good ones actually.
Go,
No,
right.
I did. No, I didn't actually. That's a lie. I'm so confused.
Straight up lie.
We should probably tell everyone that we're in our hotel room right now. You've got, what is it, the NBA finals?
NBA finals. Cleveland about to lose.
And a beer.
And a beer.
I'm here sort of just half dead because it's just been a terribly stressful day.
But watching American adverts now, they're the best.
Yeah, there's a woman jumping over a table. What's going on?
And now, no, Dave. Right, we're getting off topic now.
No, hang on. Talking on the TV, I was just browsing through the telly last night. They have like loads of channels that are just dedicated to infomercials.
Yeah.
Like I knew that, but I didn't know.
It's like E3.
But they have actual programs that are adverts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know, but this is where we are, Dave. This is where we are.
Why? Right. Anyway, E3.
What was the best thing you saw today?
The best. I don't know. I've seen a lot of good stuff today. The best. I'll say the best for last. I think.
Yeah.
So I started with Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which I waited about an hour to play. Which was
your VIP, bro.
Well,
that shouldn't have happened. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, apparently, but apparently not.
Yeah.
At the same time.
So how was it?
It is what you expect it to be. It's an open world Mirror's Edge, and it still plays how Mirror's Edge played in terms of controls. Like we played it on PC, but using an Xbox One pad.
Yeah.
So
any combat?
There is combat, but I couldn't quite work out how you're supposed to do it.
So it's very much Mirror's Edge.
Yeah. So the demo was really short. It was like a 10-minute demo, I think, if that. And they plonk you in an open world. Half of it was a tutorial telling you how to move. And it's all very familiar if you played the first one. It's the left trigger and the left bumper.
Yep.
Left trigger moves down, left bumper moves up. So that's all the same. Right trigger is to barge through doors and all that. The difference is this time is that because it's open world, the beauty of the first game was that because it was linear and the paths were designed for you to go a certain way and you could develop that flow and that rhythm and you felt like you were getting good at the game.
Yeah.
And I think you still will feel like you're getting good at the game in this one, but because it's open world and there's not a strict path where you need to go, it felt a bit clumsy at times when you're trying to find where you're supposed to go, and it was a bit stutter. It's like, oh, I've climbed up here now. Where do I go next? Oh,
the Burnout Paradise problem.
And that's the one thing where I think maybe it won't feel as perhaps... they won't pull it off as well as the first one, maybe. But it's still, like, you can't tell. A 10-minute demo for that game in EA's booth, which is so noisy, I couldn't hear anything that was coming through these headphones. All I heard was Star Wars. And
oh, yeah. I did a one-on-one interview with the creative director of Garden Warfare 2.
Yeah.
And we had to do it in a room. And every time Star Wars trailer started, it went. I had to say, right.
It was
I
awful.
didn't hear a single word you said there, chap.
And the thing about Mirror's Edge, and they kept pushing this in their presentation, it's immersion, it's all that, and it's minimalistic, and the ambience and things like that. It's something you want to get sort of absorbed and sucked into. You get no feeling for that E3 whatsoever. It just feels like a load of noise because it is literally noise. It's all right. So you have a map. You have an open world map which you pull up by pushing the back button or whatever it's called these days.
That doesn't seem very Mirror's Edgy.
Yeah, and the world. Remember in the first game, everything you could jump on was red.
Yeah.
In this game, everything is white until you highlight a waypoint on the map, and then the game will sort of dynamically paint things in red towards the direction where you want to go.
So that to me sounds like a solution to a problem, but is it going to make more problems itself?
Yeah. And the combat, I just had no idea what I was doing. Like, I ran into a guard and I started tapping a button and eventually he went down.
Fair enough.
But I mean,
that's how it works in reality, to be honest with you.
and there were 3 mission types in this. There was no story missions or anything like that. It was 3 sort of side missions that, and they're typical open world CAC. So you've got time
Doesn't
trial.
sound very good, Dave.
Well, it was the game I think I was most underwhelmed by. I think actually today.
That's not good, is it?
There's a time trial one. There's one where you've got to deliver an item to another place, and then there's one where you have to climb up the side of a tower. It's a bit like Far Cry's Towers, but nowhere near as clever.
Fucked it. Towers.
I mean, it's still got potential. It looks really nice, and it's Mirror's Edge, and Mirror's Edge was great, but you just couldn't get a feel for it properly in this demo. It was just impossible to tell.
Fair enough. What next?
What did I see next? Need for Speed. I went and saw Need for Speed, which is a lot more like a Criterion Need for Speed than I was expecting it to be, actually. I thought it was going to be more like the old style Underground games, and aesthetically it is, but in terms of the way it plays and the way that the structure, so it's still all open world, and you still have little event markers on your map, and you go up to wherever they are in the open world, and you trigger them with R1. We're playing it on PS4, and it is a bit like Criterion's Need for Speed Most Wanted. Imagine that, but in a nighttime setting. But the handling is a bit funny. I couldn't quite work it out. So they've done this weird thing where you can customize the car, and that's great. Like, it's super in depth. People have been asking for it for years. You're going to love that. You can also customize the handling. So they've done it on this bar where to the left of the bar is drift, I think it's called, and to the right is grip. And you can move that bar up and down towards either end that you want. You can put it in the middle, you can put it closer to drift, put it closer towards grip. Anyway, drift is supposed to be representative of the newer Need for Speed games.
Okay.
And grip is supposed to feel more like the older ones.
That sounds like hedge betting to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's the best of all possible worlds.
Yeah, so
until it's not.
I put it closer to drift, but it basically was between the middle and drift.
Yeah.
And it felt a little bit odd. I don't know. Like I guess it will, because there's not one handling model now that they've finally tuned.
Yeah.
They've gone in with sort of the 2 extremes, and then you can customize it yourself.
It just sounds so dangerous. You know, people, I think they want all that customization and the creativity of the player.
Yeah.
And then they realise that there's a reason why certain designers get paid fuck tons of cash.
Yeah.
You know, and when you told me about it earlier, I just thought, I mean, it may work incredibly well. It could be one of those things where it adds a lot of longevity to the game because you can play it with drift or grip.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I mean, the setting.
It's a risk.
The setting I had it on, the handling. Every time I put the brake on around the corner, it felt like I was putting the handbrake on. It felt like I was drifting. Like it was constantly swinging the back end out really aggressively, and it just didn't feel natural at all.
Okay.
Not that like Hot Pursuit and any of that feel natural, don't feel realistic, but you get a feel for them.
They feel authentic in the parameters of the game.
Whereas this, I didn't quite understand. The camera I was playing it on, apparently you can change this. I didn't
Is
realise.
this where it comes in when you drift?
Yeah.
I liked that the first time I saw it, and by the third or fourth, I was like, no more.
They're calling it their action cam, and I didn't realise that you could actually change it so it doesn't do that. But it's so difficult, and I think, judging by what they were saying, they accept that is a more difficult way to play the game, and it's really just a showing off type camera mode. But I don't know why as a beginner, there's no way that you should ever go in with that camera. Unfortunately, I didn't realise that until after I played the damn thing.
But this is the thing. E3, you don't have very long to play, and
this was like 6-minute demo, I think, something like that.
But EA's booth was absolutely swamped, wasn't it? I went in there.
It's ludicrous.
And it was crazy. Now, I went to Nintendo Day.
Yes, you did.
I went to Nintendo. Now, you know I'm a big Nintendo fan.
Burns, I mean, you don't need to lie.
I mean, the PR for Star Fox did say, have you played Star Fox before? And I said, yeah, when I was about 11.
It's made by Platinum, Burns.
And that wasn't necessarily meant to be as facetious as it sounds. That was just me admitting that I wasn't going to lie and say, well, actually, I'm big into Star Fox Adventures. I've played all of them.
Star Fox is good,
I've got a ROM of Star Fox 2.
Star Fox 64 was great.
So I was like, okay, let's go for it. Now, remember Platinum. You're thinking tight controls, all of that sort, it's action. It was so slow. It looks terrible. It was not a looker by any stretch of the imagination. And it had the craft, your R-Wing had no speed. It felt so slow. And instead of like dogfighting, so Star Fox, Star-Wing, whatever you want to call it, dogfighting, flying around, loads of blaster fire. I mean, they got that on the SNES version. This was like, you go along a canyon, you shoot some stuff that's in the bottom of the canyon. And the gamepad is used for precision fire. And like most of the times when they say motion control is precise, it's not precise at all. A lot of the times you look down and your little green reticule will be pulling all the way to the left.
Well, we had this with Splatoon, didn't we? When we first loaded Splatoon up, we're like, please, you've got to be able to turn that.
Oh yeah, I was ready to give it 3 out of 10 if you couldn't turn it off.
Why?
And
why is it a thing?
We actually talked about Splatoon, me and the PR and the guy who was demoing it. I said I turned it off instantly.
Yeah.
And in fairness, it did start to not click because I do think that it's not anywhere near as well realised or implemented as it should be right now. But the main problem outside of those controls is that it's very dull. It's you fly around, you shoot stuff on the floor. Platinum have a reputation for incredibly fast-paced but incredibly precise action, and this was neither. What else did I see there, Dave?
Well, the Star Fox is their big game this year, right? That's the big thing they've got, isn't it?
Yeah, dear.
It feels like a filler year for Nintendo.
Yeah.
It feels like they're just waiting for that console next year.
I think so.
Is Wii U dead now? I mean, I say that as if it hasn't been for years anyway.
I'm not sure it's
got Zelda still.
It's not completely dead, but at the moment they're calling the family and saying you better get here.
But what's it going to have this Christmas? Star Fox is a bit weak, like you say it is. What's it going to
Holiday
have?
2015, baby. Yeah, it could they could turn around.
Yeah.
Same time. I doubt it will.
Anyway, what was next?
What else did I play? What was there? I played
some tennis game, wasn't it?
I played Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's even called that, but in my mind it's always just called Mario Tennis.
It's just the way it is.
That had some cool stuff in it. I'm not sure whether because I haven't played a Mario Tennis game for a long while.
Yeah.
Stuff like you can get a mushroom and turn into a bigger version of the character you're playing as, and they have more powerful smashes and all of that. So, they had some cool ideas. Well, maybe they were used before, I don't know, but that was kind of fun. I'm not sure how long it would have kept my interest really. Mario Maker.
You said you liked this.
Super Mario Maker. I thought that it was a good use of the Wii U gamepad. When the gamepad was revealed and you had all those dreams about those cool shit, and then a lot of them never really materialised. It seems like this one it has come to pass. Like, you use the gamepad and the stylus to draw the level. You pick up elements of it from a row at the top. You drop them in. You drag and drop. Yeah. So, and you can combine them in funny ways or in Nintendo ways. So certain enemies, if they have a mushroom on them, get bigger or don't or whatever. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I was told that a fellow journalist turned up, and you can write, obviously with coins, because you can place the coins anywhere, and he just wrote Sega and created his own level.
And then made a big penis.
Yeah,
out of money.
I mean, it's just going to be all penises, isn't it? But yeah, that was interesting. Best thing I saw today was Pez.
Of course it was Pez. It's always Pez.
Now,
best thing you see every day is Pez.
Let me caveat this. Usually when I see Pez at E3, it's in a very early state. And I always come away saying they've done cool stuff, but they need to fix this, that, and the other. From what I've played, it seems like they could release it tomorrow, and I think it's up there with probably being the best football game of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stephen.
I know. I couldn't believe it. And the Konami Pez stand was fucking rammed. Usually they've got this little booth that a lot of game journalists go to because you get free beer.
Everyone's looking for Kojima. Maybe he made Pez.
Well,
maybe that's what he's doing.
But where's that always on to next?
Yeah.
He's gonna make it for Microsoft Game Studios.
Pro Evolution Snake.
Pro Evolution Silent Hills. Yeah, really cool, really cool. It's it's such a step over the last one. Yeah. And the thing is, it's difficult to talk about football games or any sports games because it always sounds like you're saying the same thing that you were saying before because they're so incremental.
Yeah.
But there'll be a whole thing. I'll tell you why it's there. But it's a lot faster than it was before, but it's also more responsive. And the animations are key. You know, FIFA, when you run around, it feels like you've got massively longer limbs than you should have.
Not really. I don't know.
Well, people will know this.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the animations, getting in and out of the animations, and the physicality between players is really cool. And the game is now more about the little half chances, the two players coming together, and who nods the ball out first, and who gets up from a tackle first. So the midfield players is so much better than before. It's such a lead, it's ridiculous. But
fair enough. That's your favourite.
That is my fave.
I've seen a couple more.
Yeah.
Next one, Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 3.
Everyone very excited.
Big story on this one, Dave, didn't you? You got a big story on it.
Yeah, something like that. It's what I'm out. That's what I'm doing, isn't it? But that's what I'm doing.
You're doing the story. I'm playing Pez.
Yeah. The thing is, though, and people will know this. People who know us will know this. That I've never been massively into Dark Souls, so I couldn't tell you the differences necessarily between this one and the last one. Like, I don't have that in-depth knowledge that Dark Souls fans will demand of any sort of proper preview.
Yeah.
But I did play Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 3 looks like Bloodborne. It's just Bloodborne. Well, from an aesthetic standpoint at least, it looks like Bloodborne in a dark fantasy setting rather than its gothic setting. And it, you know what? Still is a bit gothic. There's a bit of a gothic castle there that was in the demo. But like the animations are super similar. They said like, oh, we've made it faster than Dark Souls 1 and 2. Like, well, yeah, because it looks about the same as Bloodborne now. You're sort of you're diving in and out.
It's interesting. You know, people are gonna.
Did Dark Souls 2 as well have a big thing about blood? When you got hit, did you have big blood splashes and things? And leave blood splatters on the floor?
I'm not sure. I don't
this
believe
does.
so.
And every time it happened, I thought, that's the little blood splatter from Bloodborne.
I mean, how many of those elements or assets do you think are placeholder?
I don't know if they are. Like,
I mean, I'm trying to give them the benefit. I mean, it's not even the benefit of the doubt. They've had a lot of successful games, but I think that Bloodborne was that. I prefer Dark Souls to Bloodborne, but I think Bloodborne was that moment where people got it more than Dark Souls.
I'm one of them.
So why cut your nose off to spite your face to go for a lower?
It looks so similar. Like there was one section in the demo. Do you know the bit in Bloodborne where you're on the bridge and you've got the two wolves?
Yeah. That
are just pacing around.
Good for farming. That
has that exact same moment with these dogs in Dark Souls 3. It looks. Like, oh, but is this a different game? Like, I couldn't believe it. But you know what? It looks really good. I was sitting there thinking, yeah,
I'll play this.
I'm up for this. It does. You know, visually it looks very similar.
Who's directing it, Dave?
Well, it's Miyazaki.
Yeah, the boy.
And he is leading development on it, but there is a co-director.
And what did the co-director direct before, Dave?
He did Steel Battalion Heavy Armour, I think it's called. That Kinect game on 360.
Which, for the record, when I was living in Bournemouth and working for a publisher, we'd have every Friday was a half day. And so everyone would just go to the pub or the beach or both. But my housemate was doing freelance and he got this Kinect game. Yeah. And instead of going to the beach, he was like, I'm just going to go and play this for a couple of hours. I came back from the pub on Friday, the most joyous of days, and you've never heard a bigger torrent of swearing on a fucking... And he's just like, I was meant to be out of here hours ago, but I can't open this fucking latch. And it impossible to control. When I came in, he went from rage to just laughter. Moving forward was difficult in that game, let alone doing anything else. It's one of the worst games ever made. Yeah. It's got to be up there.
I just couldn't go over the similarities to Bloodborne. Like, even like a big thing of it is like the fading sun or something, and it's like, well, the sun played a bit of a role in Bloodborne, right?
Well, it's over the course of a night, isn't it? So
yeah.
Bloodborne.
But even like the atmosphere of the whole thing.
Interesting though. Interesting.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. Well, is it going to be too soon after Bloodborne? I don't know, but it looked really good.
Well, let's wrap this up, Dave, by asking what What interesting things did you see on the show floor?
I had one more game I was going to tell you about.
What was the game? What was the game?
The best game I saw today.
Oh, right. Oh, you going to
Dark
save it
Souls
till
3
last?
wasn't even it.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say Dark Souls 3 was it.
No. XCOM 2.
XCOM, give it to you.
And I really liked XCOM. And I just thought, going into this one, well, it's just going to be more XCOM, really, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Like, what more can you say? And it is, but they've really ramped up the presentation and the cinematic type stuff. So you'll now get, they're not cutscenes, but they're in-game cinematics that trigger at certain points in the mission.
You sounded so much like an executive there, Dave. It's incredible
really?
PR.
I didn't even say that.
They're not cutscenes.
Literally, it was you sat down and watched a video. There was no presentation, there was nothing. But it's like so the mission was your XCOM squad had to blow up some statue, and it's basically some propaganda tool that the aliens were
Forward
using.
together, that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it where the aliens picking up the fall? They had a big one of it on the show floor.
Maybe.
You not see that?
No, I walked straight past it.
Damn.
Anyway, when you start approaching this tower, this statue thing, this cinematic shows of you're one of your people in your squad going out planting this bomb on, and then if it was the last game, it would still be that top down view, or it's an animation that just popped it on there. This one, it just kind of swings into the game and the camera tracks down. It's properly animated. It looks just really cool. Basically, they've ramped the presentation, and the blockbuster values
bit more cash.
It feels more like AAA than XCOM did, and that made me happy. I thought, because that was the one area of XCOM that probably could have done with a little bit more polish, that sort of stuff. And this one, really good, nice visual style as well.
Yeah,
it's almost Team Fortressy,
really,
in a way. It's not that cartoony. It's not as cartoony as Team Fortress is, but it has the similar sort of style. It's nice. It looks good.
There's good stuff around at E3 this year. I know we've been tweeting, or I've been tweeting, and saying about how it's hell on earth. But
no, it is hell on earth.
Well, it is, but that's only from an appointment perspective. I think if you were just going in there and you were just walking around and seeing all this stuff, it is fantastic. Like you said, Dave, it becomes more and more like a theme park.
Yeah.
Every year, and there's so much good shit around. Like you can go and play Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, what? Like you can, it's that close that you can just go and play the opening of the game. I mean, I've already played 13 hours, so you fucking normies can carry on. But yeah. So, what did I see?
We've just been through this now, Burns.
No. In terms of not games.
Oh, on the show floor.
Just reset. Hey, Dave. Let's talk about.
I'm actually falling asleep.
Well, the men's toilets were a disgrace.
Oh, we need to talk about that. I went in there at the end of the day. I've never seen something. It's like a shit apocalypse.
Yeah.
There's literally poo everywhere. I couldn't believe it.
It's an incredible sight.
It's a toilet roll hanging off the side of the doors.
I don't know how it happened. I'm not sure how the physics allow.
Honestly,
for it to happen.
I mean, I've seen bad toilets.
Yeah.
But this was honestly some of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
But you have to remember that E3 is populated in certainly between 70 and 90% of the fine, upstanding gentlemen who go there are, probably not best served by any standard etiquette or not shitting up doors. And I went in there earlier and there's a dude waiting for and the toilets are notoriously small.
Yeah.
For a convention centre, there's loads of toilets dotted around, but there's not one big, like at Wembley or any stadium, there's a big toilet. There's like 3 or 4 big toilets. This has got about 16, and they've got 3 urinals and 2 cubicles in. You have to walk another 5 days to get there. But I walked in midway through the day, and there was a guy waiting to go in one of the cubicles, and the door was open, and I kind of looked at him and thought, why is he just standing there? And he realised I was thinking that, and he went, oh man, it's a mess in there. I was like, okay, great. And then Dave, you saw that.
It's just like confetti at the end of the day. People throw confetti everywhere and all that. That's toilet paper. It's just hanging everywhere. I thought it's like Halloween. I don't understand.
It's like, when you used to be at school and invariably at one point you'd look up and just find shit on the roof or the ceiling. And you just think, how? And you have to kind of dial back through time and think, well, how did someone get to this point?
Oh, yeah.
That's E3.
Yeah.
That's every time you need to go to the toilet at E3.
Excellent. Well, maybe we shouldn't Maybe we've
Look, the
spoken
games were
enough
good.
about that. Yeah,
the games were good.
but the toilets were literally.
The toilets
crap.
were toilet. So right,
There you go. That's day one done. What we got coming up day two, Burns? I don't even know anymore.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, you're seeing Ubisoft. I've got Hitman, which I'm quite excited about.
I'm excited about Hitman.
I'm intrigued. I don't know what they're going to do with the whole digital episodic.
They may have
type
fucked
thing,
it,
maybe.
but at the same time, I'm gonna. I don't have an appointment, but I know the people who are running it.
You're going to get in.
So I'm gonna walk up and say, "Listen, open the door, or I'll have to open you up."
Wow.
And they'll go, "Steve, we can't." And I go, "All right." I'll probably go off to the
Just
media room.
pretend to be me.
Well, I can. You got a beard coming on, Dave, haven't you?
I haven't
got
shaved
conference beard.
since we've been here. I haven't shaved, and you've complimented me.
You
on
should.
That today.
You keep it going.
Do you think? You know,
I think people on Twitter would like to see it.
Really?
Yeah.
All
very
right.
much
Good.
so.
All right. Well, we'll be back again throughout the week on and off. But it's so madcap here that anything could happen. Really. I mean, who knows?
And we're in downtown, staying in the worst hotel in the world, so we'll probably be shot.
I
tomorrow.
open the windows up because it's boiling in here, and as I open the police sirens outside,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Fucking great, isn't it? Right. Later.
Bye.